This is the video for the 2.4 activities. I'll go to content, and so I just happened to be here because I just posted some stuff, but if I just came to the content page, then I would go to the chapter 2 and 2.4. Okay, so I will open all three things that are here. Okay, and you could click download here to open it. Okay, and then I can just hit the next button. Okay, the data, I want that. Okay, mine always puts it at the bottom here. I'll go ahead and click enable editing right now. And then the next thing. Okay, and then you can click download for this too. Okay, so for me it opens like this. I want to see the full sheet, so just click on this arrow to get rid of that. Okay, so let's see, let me look at the requirements. Okay, we'll worry about naming the sheets in a second. Let's first look at the first problem. Problem 17 and 18, either use the file I posted, the Excel file, or enter data manually for the observed blood types. So here's the sheet that has all the data for all of the problems. And so I think I might have renamed it, but if I didn't, I want this, like sheet 1, to be data sheet. And so all I do to like rename a sheet from sheet 1, sheet 2, whatever, is all you have to do is actually double click on the sheet name and then just start typing data sheet. Okay. And then you can move it to the end so that the problems are first. That's fine. All I did was click and then drag it, and you see where that little black arrow is. It'll show where it's putting the problem. So let's go ahead. I say to name each sheet appropriately. So I'm going to do the blood types problems on the first sheet. So just click on the sheet name and type in blood types. Okay. And then we'll go and just copy only the blood type data into this problem. So start down at row 52, click on that cell, hold down your button, highlight all the way up to the top, and then Control C as in Charlie will copy, and then I'll just go to B2, Control V as in Victor to paste. Okay, so there's all the data. Okay, so we have all the data. Create a frequency distribution table for the different blood types. Okay, so the problem says eventually we're going to create a pie chart and then a Pareto chart. Okay, so in order to get the pie chart, we need to have like the data arranged in a table, and the histogram feature won't work because these aren't numerical values. They're the categorical variables. So let's just type here, we'll set up the table. So we'll do a heading of blood type, and then we'll do frequency. And then let's bold those because these are going to be the headings for our table. So just highlight and click on the B for bold. And then let's list the different types. So the different types are A, B, O, A, B. And I'll do it. A, B, A, B, O. Oops. Okay, so there are only those 4 types. And so then in the requirements, I say use the COUNTIF command to display the number of occurrences for each blood type. So I want Excel. I'm not going to go through myself and count all the A's and B's and whatever. I'm going to get Excel to do it for me. And anytime, remember, we want Excel to do something for us, we usually start out with an equals sign, and that's what we're going to do here. So go in the frequency cell next to A and start out with equals, and then just type count if, all one word, no spaces, and then open parentheses, and we're just going to highlight all of these. And then close parentheses. Oops, we have to tell it what we're counting. So we want it to count the number of A's. And since A is not a numerical value, it's a letter, we have to put quotes around it. So we do quotes, capital A, quotes, and then close parentheses. So there are 20 A's in our list. And let's go ahead and center that. Okay, and now we want to do the same thing for B's and AB's and O's. And before, in other sections, we've seen about copying formulas, where if we just go down into the bottom right-hand corner where our cursor turns into a plus sign, we can just click on that and drag down. But I want to show you what happens when we do that. Well, first of all, every time it was just counting an A. So we'll need to change that. But here's the other thing that happened. Notice this one says B3 to B52, which is where our data is. B3 to B52. But every time I copy the formula down a row, notice it changes the formula to also go down a row. So B4 to B53. So it's not starting at the top anymore. And then here, B5 to B54. So to get Excel to prevent Excel from changing the rows, we use what's the dollar sign as kind of like a protector. So if I go back in this formula where I counted the number of A's, and I go right in between the B and the 3 and put a dollar sign, that's going to protect the 3. So even if I copy and paste the formula, it's not going to change the 3. And I want, oops, the same thing with the 52. So go in between the B and the 52 and put a dollar sign. And now notice if we go into that cell now and copy and paste, it keeps 3 and 52 all the time. So it's always looking exactly where we've entered our data. The only thing is I need to change, I don't want to count A's in this cell, I want to count B's. So I'm just going to go change A to B. And then in this one, I'll change A to AB, or just add a B. And then the last one is O. So delete the A and type a capital letter O. Okay, so that's the number of occurrences of each blood type. And we can just check the total. Remember, equals sum, and then highlight. Okay, so there it says there are 50 of them. And we started at 3, and we went to 52. Yep, so that would be 50 of them. Okay, you might think, oh wait, shouldn't we go to 53? But think, if I start at 2 and end at 6, how many do we have? Even though 6 minus 2 is 4, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's not just 52 minus 3, you still have to count the first one. So it's right that we have 50 in there. Okay, and so now this right here is our frequency distribution. Frequency distribution table. So we're done with that, and we already used the COUNTIF command to do that. Now we want to create a pie chart for the data. So for the pie chart, we're going to go to Insert, and then Charts. We want a pie chart, and just the first one, pie. Oh, okay, so I'm going to hit the backspace because there's nothing in there. I have to highlight my data first. So highlight these. Don't highlight the total. Just highlight the A, B, and O. And now we'll go back to Insert, Chart, Pie. Okay, so notice it gives us a key at the bottom here. Let's see what else we need for this. Enter an appropriate title. So we just want blood types. And remember, oops, to change the title, whatever was there, you just click on it, highlight, and type over to give it a title that you want. Okay. Display either the number of occurrences or the percentage of occurrences for each blood type in the appropriate sector of the circle. So I want to say, okay, well, what percentage? If I hover over it, I can see there's 44% in there. There's 40% in here, 10, and 6%. I can also see how many people. Do you see value 22? So that means there are 22 type O, since the yellow goes with O. So if we want to get those in there, so if I right click on it, I get this window and add data labels. Let's see. There we go. That's it. So now we have, I said either the how many or the values. So, or the percentage. And so we have the values here, not the percentage. Create, okay, so that's it for the pie chart. And now we're doing, it says, create another table with the data sorted from the highest to lowest number of occurrences. So all I'm going to do is copy and paste this table. So highlight the whole table, Control C to copy, and then let's just go over here. I'm in N3 and click Control V to paste. Okay, see it changed when I copied over here. It changed its counting in column K now, and there's nothing in column K. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna go in and just change the K's to B's. So, oops, what happened? So click on there, change the K's to B's. Here's the other thing we could do. We can get it all done at once. You can either manually change all of the K's to B's. I'm going to show you another feature of Excel. So highlight all of the things under frequency. And then this find and select. So I'm going to click on that and go to replace. And I want to replace, so I want to find the capital K's and replace them with capital B's. Okay, and then I'm just going to click replace all. Okay, and then you can close these out. Again, you could just change them manually if you want. Change the K's to B's. So you should have the same numbers in there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we want to sort them from highest to lowest. And it's not too hard to do that manually, but I want to show you how to use Excel to do that. So highlight the table and then click Sort and Filter, and then do Custom Sort. And we want to sort by frequency, and we want to do largest to smallest, not smallest to largest. So just click on that and change it to be largest to smallest and click OK. All right. So there we have it arranged from smallest to largest, which is perfect for making a Pareto chart. So let's see what the requirements say again. Okay, just create a Pareto chart, give it a title, and the horizontal axis a label. Okay, so this time let's try highlighting the headings as well, blood type and frequency. And so we'll go to Insert. We want like a bar chart, and we just want a regular chart right here. We're going to move this over so it doesn't cover up our pie chart. And we'll just, again, so it has frequency on here, but I am going to, whoa, I don't want that. I'm just going to close this. Just highlight frequency and then type over it, blood types. And then we really don't want there to be gaps between the bars. We'll see if we can fix that here. So I right clicked on a bar and I'm going to go to Format Data Series. And we want our gap width to be 0. Okay. And then we're good with that. But the lines between the bars disappear and we want to have clear marks between the different bars. So I'm going to right click again, just anywhere on the blue area, and click on Outline and just choose a color other than that blue. So let's see if I choose green, if that will show up. It's not the best. So I'll right click, Outline, let's try black. Okay, perfect, that shows up well. And then we've done that, give the horizontal axis an appropriate label. Okay, so let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger. And I'm going to make the chart a little bit smaller just by clicking, see how my arrow turns into this diagonal, pulling that up a little bit just to give myself more room to type a label on the bottom here. And we will do Insert, so up on the top here, Text, Text Box, and just click somewhere and then drag to create a box, and then we'll just say blood types down here too. So our blood types are A, B, or O, A, B, and AB. We have the bars, they're sorted from highest to lowest, and we have a title. All right, so that's it for problem 17. So the 17 and 18, the blood types problem. And then the next one we had to deal with cigarettes. Okay. And so I'll just go ahead and then here, I'm going to change that. So again, I clicked on sheet 3. If, say you didn't open my file, and you only started with one sheet, then you can just click on this right here to add new sheets. Okay. So the next one, so I'm just going to rename that cigarettes. And then I'll go into my data sheet. Oops. And I'm going to copy. So just highlight all of the cigarette data, Control C to copy, click on the cigarettes page, and then Control V to paste. Okay, so there's the cigarette data. And we're supposed to create a scatter plot, and we'll see what I think that's all the problem says too. 21. Use tar and king size cigarettes for the horizontal scale and use carbon monoxide for the vertical scale and determine whether there appears to be a relationship. Okay, king size refers to the FL label. So we want to do tar and carbon monoxide. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this sheet where I have the cigarette data, and I'm just going to copy the tar, and I'll just copy it again over here, like in column J. So Control V to paste, and then I want to copy the carbon monoxide right next to it. Okay, so to get the scatter plot for this, we're going to highlight everything, including the headings for the tar and carbon monoxide. And then we're going to go to Insert. And we want this, which is a scatter plot. We're just going to choose the first one. Let's move it over. But we're going to change the title, but part of the requirements also say that we have to label both axes. So I want to label both the X and the Y axes with their units, the tar and carbon monoxide. And the way, these are grayed out, I can't click on them, but if you go to Quick Layout, I can choose, we can delete the things we don't need. Let's see what this, I don't want to label the points. Let's try this one. So I'm going to delete this though. I don't want that. So I'm just highlighting the whatever little legend is over there. I'm just clicking on it and hitting backspace. Okay, it gets rid of that. We also don't really need this line. So when I click on it, do you see that it adds these little dots at the end? I actually would like to delete that line if we can. If we can't, it's not a huge deal. Okay, so I right click on it and I highlight delete. Okay, because we just really want the scatter plot. We are gonna have to add a title. That wasn't one of the options, but it had most of the stuff that we want. So first let's make it a little bit taller. Chart title. We want to do that. So all I did, okay, so when I'm on the graph here, there's this little plus sign, and so I'm going to click on that, and I want to add a chart title. Okay, and so that's good. It's not the title we want, but that's something that we can easily change. Just click in that box, highlight, and type over. And we're going to do tar versus carbon monoxide content. Oh, let's just do tar versus carbon monoxide and king size cigarettes. Okay, and then for the horizontal axis, this was the tar. Whichever one you have first, that's going to go on the horizontal axis. And whichever one you have second is on the vertical. Okay, so this is tar content. And then this one, so we click on it, and I clicked, and I don't see my cursor, so I just click one more time kind of in the middle, and then I see my cursor, and so I'm going to hit the up arrow to get to the end of title, and then just backspace, and then we'll do carbon monoxide content. Okay, and so then I think we have everything we need for our scatter plot. Create a scatter plot, give it a title, label both axes. Okay, so we're done with that one. So now we just have the problem 25, which deals with marriage and divorce rates. So we're going to do that on its own page. So if you didn't have this extra page, right? So if you just had this little arrow right here, lets you arrow back and forth through the pages you have. So I see blood type, cigarettes, and the data sheet, and then nothing else. So I want to add a sheet, and then move it, just drag it so it's after cigarettes, and then double click on the name and change it to marriage, divorce rates. Okay. And then we'll go to the data sheet, so I'll click on this right arrow, and we want to copy that data. Okay, so just highlight, Control C to copy, go into marriage and divorce rates, and just paste it somewhere at the top. Okay, so there we have all our data. And we're going to create a multiple bar chart for this. And so let's just see what the problem says. That's probably all it says. Oh, I forgot to put that one in there. I think I'll go ahead and add that to it, but I think that's all it says. Construct a multiple bar graph. We'll just do that. We don't necessarily have to answer these other questions, but I'll talk about them in the video. You don't have to type the answers or anything. So we're just going to construct a multiple bar graph. Okay, so let's just try copying or highlighting and creating a chart right away. We'll see if it works. Okay, so I'm going to start highlighting at year. So I'm going to highlight both the headings and the data. Okay. And then I'm going to go to Insert. We want a bar chart. Oh, yeah, I think this is, okay. So I want to talk about why this didn't work. Notice that everything here is right up around 2000. it's graphing the years, not the rates, okay? Okay, so here's how we're going to fix this so that we do get the right chart. So go down and click just on one of the numbers on the horizontal axis, like the 7. It highlights the whole box, that's fine. And then right click, and then go down to where it says select data and click on that. Okay, and I am going to, I don't want the year to be one of the bars. So year is highlighted, I'm going to click remove. And then for the horizontal axis, I think actually that fixed it. Oh, but I don't have the labels for the years. So for horizontal, let's click edit, and it says what do you want to use to label the axis? Well, I want to label the axis with the years. Oops. So just highlight year and then all the way to 2000 and let go. Okay, we actually don't want the year. So that's okay. I see that I put year in the first one, so just start at 1900. So just redo it and start at 1900 and go to 2000 and then let go. And now click on OK. And OK again. Okay, so let's see what's here. So create a multiple bar chart, that's what we did. Give the chart an appropriate title, make sure the labels and the legend are accurate, label both axes appropriately. Okay, so first let's fix the title. So the chart title should be marriage and divorce rates by year. Okay, so that's good. And now the legend, that's fine, but I also, it tells the orange bars are marriage, the gray bars are divorce, but I also want to say that this is years. That's going to be the label for the horizontal axis. Let's see if we have this quick layout option over here where we could move maybe the legend over to the side instead, and I think we'll be able to do that. And let's look at this one right here. Perfect. So we already have marriage and divorce rates by year. I put the legend on the side, the axis title, so that's just going to be year. And then for the axis title, for the vertical, we're just going to do rates. Let's do marriage and divorce rates. I think rates is fine because the title says marriage and divorce rates by year. Okay, so that is it. I'm going to go, that's all you have to do. I'm just going to go look at that question here. Oh, it's rates per 1,000 people. Let's go ahead and add that. So rates, so click on it, per 1,000 people. Okay, that's better. So it says, why do these data consist of marriage and divorce rates rather than total numbers? Like, why don't they do frequency like we did in like blood types and whatever? The reason is because the population grows. So as the population grows, of course, the number of marriages and divorces are going to also grow. There are just more people to do both of those things. Comment on any trends. There's a slight fluctuation, I guess, in the marriage rates, kind of with a little bit of a downward trend at the end. But there's definitely, we see a gradual rise in divorce rates, and I think it's just because of societal issues. It's more accepted now than it was then. But okay, that is it for this activity. So we would go File, Save As. I'll save it just in my documents. and I'm just going to do Excel for 2.4 and then put my name at the end, Newberg. Okay, and save. And then I can close it. And then I would go back into D2L and I'd go to Assessments, Dropbox. And then it's not open now, but it would be, you would just submit it to the Chapter 2 because you can do any one of the 3 and you can just submit them all to the same folder. So even though this isn't where I would submit it, it's the only one that's open as I'm making this video. So it's, you would just click Add File, Upload, and then I would click Add, and even after I click Add, I still have to hit Submit, okay? I don't want to do this because I don't want my own file in there, but that's what you would do, and then you would get like a success message after that, so I'm going to hit Cancel. All right.